Shabbat Shalom, my friends. No, not everything is all about us. We live in a world of 7.5 billion people. Of the 7.5 billion, 15.2 approximately million, 15.2 million are Jews. We therefore represent 0.2% of the world's population. So no, everything isn't always about us. But the Russian invasion of Ukraine does connect us to the war zone in a rather unique way. A 2020 demographic study indicated that there are at least 43,000 Jews living in Ukraine, but because such numbers reflect a lot of bias as to who is a Jew, the more accurate number may be 150,000 or more. Israel estimates that perhaps some 200,000 Ukrainians would be eligible to make Aliyah now under the law of return. Ukraine's capital, Kyiv, has 110,000 Jews. Dnipro has 60,000, Kharkiv 45,000, Odessa 45,000 Jews. Odessa experienced violent pogroms in 1821, 1859, 1871, 1881, and 1905. For centuries, Odessa and Ukraine have been a hotbed of violent anti-Semitism. But klezmer music was born in Odessa. Isaac Babel was born in Odessa. Shalom Aleichem and Yasha Heifetz called Odessa home. Odessa can claim Chaim Nachman Bialik, Shaul Chernichovsky, Achad Ha'am lived in Odessa, Zev Jabotinsky, as did so many others who were founders of modern Zionism and of modern Hebrew literature. This war will be of uncertain length, maybe brief, maybe not. The ultimate number of dead, of wounded, of displaced citizens can't even be estimated at this moment. The impact of this war upon the world order is simultaneously frightening and unclear. On the day that I was born, the Nazis were completing the shattering of Poland in 1939. I actively remember wars from 1950, beginning when Korea exploded. So many wars in my lifetime, so many deaths leading up to the nightmares of Iraq and Afghanistan and now Ukraine. I join you in praying for peace, and certainly not the peace that is forever identified with Munich, but a just and enduring peace. I join you in praying for the people of Ukraine. I join you in praying that this time, maybe this time, we can witness the defeat of those who would crush freedom and democracy and impose their will upon all those that they can reach. And though I know that it's not always about us, I join you in praying for the safety of the Jews of Ukraine, including its president, Volodymyr Zelensky. Our Sedra is Vayakhel, Exodus chapter 35, verse 1 and following. Next week we will conclude our study of the book of Exodus and prepare ourselves to resume our conversations with the book of Leviticus. Vayakhel means, and he assembled. Moses assembled the people. But for what purpose? To reinstate the covenant between God and the Israelites following the debacle of the golden calf. The focus here will be on the actual building of the Mishkan, of the tabernacle, an act which many commentators refer to, technical term, as a tikkun. A tikkun is a repair, a putting back into proper order. The people had lavishly and freely contributed to the building of that calf, and now Moses was commanding the tikkun, build a tabernacle for God, a connecting point between heaven and earth, a symbol of the covenant. But Salel will oversee the design and construction, while the people will contribute the precious metals and other materials that the artisans will require. A tikkun must occur, a reversal of a desperately sinful act. But there is additional richness in the word Vayakhel. And I am so grateful that I can continue to learn from the late Rabbi Lord Jonathan Sacks as he sets answers before me to questions that I didn't even know that I had. Hebrew has three very different words with which to label a gathering of people. There is, first of all, an edah, then a tzibur, and then a kehilah. By the way, the word kehilah shares the same root as Vayakhel, and that's where this conversation comes from. So how do these three terms differ? Edah is derived from the Hebrew word for a witness, an aid, edah. An edah is a gathering of people who have all witnessed, seen, and experienced the same thing. In that sense, it was an edah that crossed the Reed Sea. An edah stood at Sinai. An edah can take that shared experience and coalesce into a mob, build a calf. Or it can take that shared experience and transform themselves into a movement for peace and for social justice. In my more benign moments, I still try to convince myself that in the 60s, I was part of an edah that was collectively experiencing the Vietnam War, and which then coalesced into a movement for peace. Then there is a tzibur. It's kind of a modern term. It's like a flash mob. A group of people who gather for a single purpose and who then disperse. A tzibur can gather to make a minyan, pray together, and then scatter. A tzibur is functional. It has a task. It fulfills the task, and then it is no longer a collective. You're needed for a quorum. You show up for the quorum. You're counted. You go your way, and that's about it. Number 3, a kehilah. A congregation is often referred to as a kehilah kadoshah, a sacred gathering, a gathering of people who have shared values as well as shared experiences, a gathering of people who see in their relationships much more than a pressing, pragmatic need to get a job done. A kehilah is a community bringing together people of great diversity who share a common vision. A kehilah works in such a way that participants keep their individuality, even as they join hands with others. When the members have completed whatever specific task they have undertaken, the kehilah doesn't disappear. Community is a living thing. It is rich with creativity and possibility. Its very existence provides a sense of identity and security. A kehilah does not demand uniformity, conformity. It celebrates individuals who have freely gathered together to make a difference in the world. So, an edah can emerge spontaneously. A tzibur ebbs and flows depending upon the moment, but a kehilah is a generative gathering, rich with possibility and filled with hope. Vayakhel. The incident of the golden calf can never be forgotten, but it has been set aside. Now Moses gathers the people into community to prepare for their entrance into history. Shabbat Shalom, my friends. Let's pray for peace. See you next week. Shabbat Shalom.